Well, hey there, gang. If I remember the scripture correctly, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Well, I'm not feeling particularly heroic this week, so let's head over to Outlaws of Thunder Junction Standard to play the most villainous thing I can think of. You are watching Head Games. Friends, opponents, bobblehead enthusiasts, welcome to Head Games Arena. My name is Jetterex. Today we're going to be playing a mainly blue-black deck in Standard that you may have seen before. We're going to give it one last swing while it's still in Standard. So what we're looking at here is a deck that plays around Breach the Multiverse and Reenact the Crime. So the premise is to get Breach the Multiverse into the graveyard as fast as possible, and then cast Reenact the Crime on it, which essentially gets you this very powerful 7-mana spell for only 4 mana. So the back end of the deck has a lot of fantastic reanimation targets. Most importantly, we're looking for Conspiracy Unraveler. So Conspiracy Unraveler is 7 mana 6/6 flyer. You may collect evidence 10 rather than pay the mana for spells that you cast. So it's a tricky way to cast spells for free, but it also creates a semi-infinite loop. And that loop is Breach the Multiverse and one single copy of Repository Scab. So Repository Scab is a 3/3 that exploits, sacrifices a creature if you want to when it ETBs. If you exploit it, you return an instant or sorcery from your graveyard to your hand. So with Conspiracy Raveler out, you cast a Breach the Multiverse, mill a bunch of cards, reanimate a Repository Scab. The Repository Scab dies, gets back the Breach the Multiverse, lather, rinse, repeat. You will mill yourself out in this process, but you will also mill your opponent out. So the premise of this is to get to this combo as quickly as possible, hopefully around turn 4 or 5, to surprise our opponents with a mill out win. So you may be wondering, why are we talking about this deck as though it were villainous? Well, you may not know this about me, but I really am not fond of mill decks. So when I built this deck and was somewhat successful with it, it was a real moment of clarity for me that perhaps I've turned a page in my life, and now here we are playing a mill strategy and having it work for us in a really significant way. So a couple of cards to point out in the deck. Down here at the bottom, we have the Modern Age and Collector's Vault as non-creature methods of looting, of drawing a card and discarding a card. These I found to be more effective because the decks in Standard play a lot of early game removal, so if you don't play the 2-drop creatures that loot, they don't have targets. In the 3-drop slot, we have our Planeswalker package, 1 Lily of the Veil, which you can discard your own cards and then reenact them. Kaido Shizuki, absolute all-star, probably going to wreck the deck on some level when we no longer have access to this card after the rotation here soon. And most importantly, Repository Scab is rotating, which makes it so that you don't have a way to make the loop continue over and over. The deck's still going to be powerful. It's still going to cast an incredibly expensive spell on turn 4 or 5, so you'll see that the deck is capable of winning in other ways, just getting an early Attrax out and punishing our opponents for having that. Most recent addition, the only new card in the deck is Harvester of Misery, and honestly, I'm not sold on it. This was the Virtue of Persistence slot before. The reason I changed it out is that this has the -2/-2 to all creatures when you cast it, so I thought it might be good against Boros Convoke. Don't know if that's actually been the case. So anyway, enough talking about the deck. Let's dive into some games and find out if we can mill a bunch of people out in Standard. Old Tippo. Famous for leaving really large amounts of money whenever they go out to eat. Okay, so we actually have one version of the combo here because Bitter Triumph allows us to pitch and get this. It's quite a while before we get to it. That's a high mana version of this, but we do have a little bit of removal early in the game if we need it. I think that this is okay. It's not going to get us to the combo incredibly fast, but I still think it's fine. We can play Dark Slick Shores, and then Underground River, then Shipwreck Rush. Our opponent is also on that blue-black plan, and that is bad news for us. Here's another land, and I'm not doing anything else. You got a flash creature? Proliferate. Very interesting. Nothing from our opponent. We will play the sewers and surveil. Kaido will keep. Kaido is arguably the most effective card in this deck, and they're going to get us into counterspell range here, so we have to be very, very sneaky about how we do things. Okay, so we're going to shipwreck Marsh. Yeah, shipwreck Marsh. We're going to run Kaido into no counterspell, and we're just going to loot. That's fair.
Now, what do we have here?
This deck is capable of just grinding. The Dimir poison deck is capable of grinding out their opponent, just getting a poison, getting a poison counter every turn.
Alexia is as inevitable patience. We will.
Thankfully, we have an answer to that. So we just do this. We play the Modern Age to draw, and no, to discard this swamp over here. And we are also going to pay 3 life and destroy that.
Your day will come, fleshlings.
Drawing 2 cards. What is our opponent gonna do? Third Mirex. So I'm like really feeling. Okay, prologue. Are they holding up another one of those removal spells? Are they holding up a Vraska's Fall? It definitely seems like they are. So, I mean, it's hard to say. I'm not sure that this is going to... I think this is maybe going to resolve, but it's also maybe not. The deck does play a counterspell, so... Do you have it? Now we get to find out if they play any creatures. No. Oh, but I get Vraska. Okay. I get Vraska, and I think we take Atraxa here. No, we take Conspiracy Raveler because I can also use Push-Pull as soon as everything comes down. So we get Vraska, we get Conspiracy. And then we're going to play Push-Pull.
Irexian life will rise from
We're
your
going to target
corpses.
Atraxa and the other Conspiracy Unraveler. We'll use Push-Pull and the Modern. So this is where the combo loop is starting. Let's see if our opponent can find a way out of this. So now we're drawing a bunch of cards. We're also swinging in for 13 if they don't have any way to deal with this. So, okay. Artifact. Creature. Instant. Land. Planeswalker. I could actually just play the other attraction. I should probably swing first just to get that part of it out of the way. And then we'll play the other attraction and see if we can keep going. Because I think we can. Yeah, that's fine. We'll submit those two. We're giving our opponent lots of opportunities to interact, but the simple fact of the matter is it doesn't matter. Alright, let's go to combat. They don't die until the end of turn, so let's get this part out of the way. play the other Atraxa. Submitting 10 cards to the collect evidence. I don't know if their deck plays any board wipes. I very much doubt it. We will keep the one that isn't going to die. Okay. This is getting a little tough, honestly. Now I want the, actually want the Scab, the Vault, untap land, good untap land, Beseech the Mirror. Do I have enough to do all of it? I do. Okay. Beseech the Mirror. I don't need to bargain it. Atraxa and Reenact. Sure.
I've already read your thoughts. You won't
Jace
stop
knocks him for
us.
15.
A more efficient solution. I will
Our opponent's
shatter
giving us the
your
good game. And our opponent doesn't want to wait for us to get through it. So there it is in all of its glory. Danny boy, I feel like I've heard a song about you. Okay, early game removal, Jace to get us through the mid game. I actually think this is probably a bad hand. Beseech doesn't do anything if we don't have one of the loot effects. Atraxa doesn't really do anything in our hand. We're gonna mull this. Modern Age is way better than it looks. Push-pull gets us there. This is fine. I think this is a game where we maybe do play Modern Age on 2 just so that we get to look at more cards. It really is much more of a combo deck than I'm used to playing. Are you here to watch somebody just fishbowl until their opponent ends? You've come to the right place. Mono red. Oh, that's bad. I guess we have push pull. That doesn't feel terrible. Lily's is actually a fairly good draw against mono red. So on turn 2 I get to push whatever threat they put down. On turn 3 I get to Liliana whatever threat comes after. Although at that point they'll have Kamano. We all want to talk about how ridiculously powerful this card is, right? The enormous amount of things that this does for 1 mana. Okay, Darkslick Shores. Push that. This is where push-pull comes in so handy. It was made for this deck. It wasn't made for this deck, but it works really well in this deck. Let's hope our opponent doesn't play a second creature. That's the ideal situation for us. So, obviously, our opponent's gonna play a second creature. Okay. Alright, so now I have a Bitter Triumph, which means I can nuke whatever they try to. I don't dislike that at all. I'm gonna hold up Bitter Triumph, and I'm going to destroy whatever creature gets the most buffs. Like whatever they try to cast that enchantment on. Sure. Nothing? Okay. Yeah, I think I can do it. Monastery Sphere has the higher damage potential. Yep. Lightning Strike. Swift Spear down. Okay. It's not a bad play. As they get to draw a card. Well, it's kind of like they get to trade the card they played earlier for a new one.
Personal space.
They didn't get any benefit out of it other than that. They basically just cycle the card. Let's see. So, Brask's Forge is a terrific get for our opponent because it takes out the Lily. Not bad, not bad.
Sorry, I'm not interested in dying today.
Okay, so if we live, we get to do something. Yeah, if we live, we get to do something next turn. What's in our graveyard? Okay, so Conspiracy Unravelers in our graveyard. We get something from them as well. Like, what enormous amount of damage are we going to take from them? Not an enormous amount of damage. Okay. Get in for 6 is a very low amount of life. We need to see an Atraxa is what we need to see. So, pitch, oh, nope, careful. Pitch the Breach. Play the land. Maybe I didn't play the land. Let's see. Looking for Atraxa. Looking for Atraxa. I didn't see her. Okay, so we get one of their show-offs, and I got rid of all the other ones. We also get Conspiracy Unraveler. Okay, how much cool stuff do we have? Okay. We can keep going. So we have one Conspiracy Unraveler, so we don't need two. Here's 10 points here. Search for... Do we just get Atraxa? I think we do. Down here we've got a push and a Bitter Triumph. Show me more cards. Okay. Draw a new hand. And I think we go for it. Conspiracy Rattler Lily. And our opponent has had enough. The red gamer cannot stand watching us combo off. Chuck does rule. Chuck really rules. I mean, it's not even really a question, but I'm glad that our opponent pointed it out. Okay, this is fantastic. If our hand doesn't get disrupted, this is just about the best that you want to see, because we can play Collector's Vault on 2 and activate it every turn after that. That gets us to the combo on turn 4. Another option is to play the Modern Age on 2. It's certainly a keepable hand, no question. What do you got for us, Chuck? Also playing Black-Blue. Terrific. Let's compare our Dark Slick Shores. They both look beautiful. Our opponent is on that Venser game, who has a toxic creature with lifelink that does some other stuff. When you proliferate, you do a thing. Fascinating. Okay, we are going to... I think I'm going to play the Modern Age so that I can look at more cards right now without having to pay mana for it. We're going to show our opponent what we're doing, but we really need to not miss a land drop, so I think this is the best way to do that. Okay, another toxic deck. It's not looking good for our heroes. Not looking good for our heroes at all. So, Now we pitch Scab. And I think we have to play ball and see if our opponent counters it. They just proliferate. I'm worried. I'm worried, y'all. I don't know why, but I feel like I lose to this poison deck all the time. It seems like a deck that should not be good and that you should be able to just run over, but just hasn't been the case for me. Yeah. So they bounced our Collector's Vault, so if we don't draw a land, we have officially lost. There it is. Okay. So I think from here we try to push Venser. Then we hold. See if we can make it to the late game with some blocks. Sure, that's 6. I mean, that deck, it really is just cast 10 spells. Still haven't drawn our 3rd land. We'll play our Collector's Vault. Okay, there's their 7th spell. There's their 8th spell. It's actually their 7th. They got me some poison counters with Venser. This is the 2nd time I've seen this deck today. This is very strange to me. Okay, well, that is it. I am going to play the Modern Age and let our opponent kill us. Look at that. Nice. I love it when people early GG. It's the politest and nicest thing you can possibly do. I'm just kidding. It's incredibly rude and you should probably not do it. It makes you look like a giant jerk. Chuck, you rule. How am I supposed to make comments on your name when it's in a different language? I mean, I feel bad making fun of it because that feels culturally insensitive, and also I don't know what any of that means. So our opponent is probably excellent and admirable, and I think that this is a keepable hand. We'll start with a swamp so our opponent doesn't know what colors we're playing. Here we go. I mean, they know one of them. Old Air and Epicure means we are on that board land. Let's see if I can draw the card that is meant to deal with that. Here's the Modern Age to see if we can. There's a 3rd land. Okay, so we're pitching Atraxa, right? Alright. How are we doing over there? There's Warden. Warden gets the Bitter Triumph. It's not even really a question. Okay, no damage for us this turn. That's good for us. We really just need to survive the early turns for the best chance that our combo is going to go off. This is not the worst thing that could have happened to us. But they have a follow-up? Here comes the Gleeful Demolition. It really does make you feel good, doesn't it? Oh, you get another one. You already have that. Please give us a land. Okay, that is good. So we can put the Scab in there. So unfortunately, because we played the Modern Age early, we actually can't sorry, lost my train of thought. Bitter Triumph. Get rid of that big creature that keeps getting bigger. Let's hope that they get the... yeah, there's the Recruiter. Yep. So because I played the the second age. Modern. Because I played the modern age a turn too early, I don't get to do the thing. So, and also, I used to play a card in here that would actually wipe this board at this point. I'm starting to really doubt some of the deck changes that I've made. So, anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4 means that we are dead. Good game, opponent. Commencer. I wonder if that's meant to have an accent with it. Okay, well there's the Harvester of Misery that didn't show up in the last game. Here's multiple ways to loot stuff without the payoff. I do think that we can keep this. This feels like a better starting hand than the last game, and we are up against mono red again. Maybe. Yep, there it is. Play our first land. I think we're gonna play Collector's Vault. There's Slick Shot. There's 2 more damage. Dark Slick Shores, Collector's Vault. We will take our beats. How much damage can they put on us? An enormous amount. Yep. Pretty terrible when it feels like you've already lost by turn 3, but I think that that's where we're at. Okay. The Ballroom Brawler. Fancy and also violent. On the draw for the... I don't even know. I was on the draw last game. Feel like it's been several different games where I've been on the draw. This is fine. I don't have any early game interaction, so if I'm playing against aggro, I have already lost. Mono black. Sure. Honestly, like I'm interested to see if they take the right pick. If that's not it. You take the Beseech, actually, because it is the combo piece, unless they have another duress. Take the Beseech. You got it. Double duress in the opening hand. That's very interesting. I mean, you keep that, right, if you have enough other support. Here's Lily.
This is my home,
Sure.
and I don't appreciate it when... We all have things we'd rather...
Okay. Here's a land. Sure. You go right ahead. So that's 3 Duresses and a Liliana. It's wild, right? They took the breach. Sure.
You won't be outsmarting me.
This is a fascinating game so far. Playing against a discard deck, this feels like the natural foil to this discard deck. What in the world is holding priority? Okay. Okay, so I don't quite have enough. I have to draw a card. I have to draw an untap land. So if I draw an untap land, I get to do it. What are they holding? Okay. Alright, so I need 3 black. I have 3 black. Cast a bargain. Pay for it. I may have made a terrible mistake here. I think I just discarded the other breach this turn, right? Oh man. I did. I made a terrible mistake. Yeah, I couldn't have gone for crime there because I pitched the Atraxa on their turn. At least I'm fairly sure that I did. I'm gonna kick myself if I go back and talk about this. Okay, so I think... What's the magic number? 20? Okay, so it doesn't actually matter. So let's... Wow, they are just itching to play whatever card they are trying to... They're trying to... Perfect draw. Why wouldn't you have exactly what you need? Yeah, we're done.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
Old Rodolfo also has a villainous avatar. Let's see what our friend is doing over here. I am on the draw again. This is a keepable hand, no question. Several 2-mana plays. I'm telling you, I cannot wait for this card to go away. Like, it really feels like when this card comes down on turn 1, that in best of 1, if you are on the draw and you have Kamano versus Kakazan come down on turn 1, that you've already lost. That is what it feels like. They don't even have to try. A 6/5 creature on turn 2. They don't even have to try. I'm really not sure what to pitch here. I think it might actually be Kaido. Just because I want to have this, because I may need to try to protect myself from threats. I mean, after taking 6 damage on turn 2, I don't know how I'm supposed to not just lose. There's another Monstrous Rage. So now the etching is a 5/3, or it's going to be a 3/3 even after the rage goes away. Okay, push was a fair draw, but I don't know if it's going to save me. That is not an untapped land, but it is a land. I think, okay, so let's figure this out. So I can kill the etchings at Kamano. If they have another creature-based threat, I'm probably just dead anyway. Do I need to cast 2 spells the following turn? Because I need another land, but I kind of need an untapped land, so yeah, we're going to pitch that. We will kill the etchings with push. Do they have another threat? Face down. Okay, so now I can go Kaido. Make a blocker.
With the right tools,
Pray. We're praying.
got all
That's all we're
kinds of
doing right now.
connections.
If they can get through some trample damage, we're probably in trouble. If we get to our turn and we get an untapped land. Okay, there's that plot card. You gonna kill our 1/1? Okay. And then you're gonna hit us in the face for 2? You got another monstrous rage? Yep. Okay. My goodness. We cannot draw lands on time. Untap land?
There's no secret I can't uncover.
I think we just lose. Sure.
Oh, whoops. You caught me.
So our opponent has drawn more cards than us. On top of everything else that's happened. Lightning strike. Of course. And lightning strike. Is it possible that you actually don't have a way to kill me right now? It does not seem possible. It doesn't seem possible. Is it possible that our opponent drew so poorly? Okay, so if I cast if I get Conspiracy Rattler here, I can cast the Reenact the Crime in my hand for free and get the attracts. 10 or greater. I know we got a push pull down here. There we go. Okay, so there doesn't seem to be any stick on our opponent's side. So if we can combo off, I think we can win. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So we need to draw another. Alright, what do they got? They have 34. So let's get this land down. I need to draw. Okay, this is going to seem very strange, but I'm going to cast Jace, and we are going to mill ourselves.
Phyrexia showed me the truth. Flesh will always lose. Too much nothing could be more vulnerable than your memory.
Scab. Breach. Makes this a lot slower when there's prowess triggers. They're at 14. Now we can get Jace back.
The weak-minded will be educated in Phyrexia's ways.
So how cruel would it be if they were holding something this whole time?
I will shatter your mind.
And death by milling. The gamer who is trying to go incredibly quickly has to sit around and watch me play. Marauder KB. KB. Kevin? Kevin. I always like the name Kevin. Shout out to you, cuz. Okay, I mean, 2 Modern Ages means we get to look at a lot of cards, and Modern Age is what works very well with Beseech the Mirror, so I think this is fine. We're on the draw. We're going to look at a lot of cards with 2 Modern Ages, so opportunity. We really just need to draw into the combo. Swift Spear on 1. We still ignore this because we are on the play. We 100... do we? Now that we drew the push-pull, now I'm like, maybe I don't ignore it. Maybe I go ahead and nuke this thing now just to slow it down. Yeah, let's get the push-pull in the graveyard. There's something about that that I actually like. That's going to make it easier to collect evidence later on. Second, what do we got? Are we plotting? Is the red deck plotting? No, they're just going straight for it. Just going straight for it. There's something at least a little bit remarkable about that. Okay, so I drew my 4th land already, so I think that we can be a little more tricksy now. I'm not trying to like hold for them to pump the creatures or anything. I'm just taking out threats as I see them. I believe that it is the right thing to do. Kamano on 3 doesn't feel as oppressive as Kamano on 1. Fugitive face Codebreaker face up. Okay, so now we just need to draw. Well, that's interesting. Somebody's getting a +1/+1 counter. If they've got another creature, I've already killed 2 of their creatures, so they drew 4 creatures. That's not the first draw I've ever seen. Okay, so they have to have 2 spells to stop this from working. Do you have 2 spells to stop this from working? They might. They don't. Okay, we're just pitching this land. You know what that means, though? It means I've run out of loot. Do I have to Otawara my own Modern Age? I think I do. I think I have to Otawara my own Modern Age. Let's see what they do. There's another Kamano. 2 damage with Play with Fire. I could Play with Fire their Kamano with Reenact. Feels bad though. They didn't attack. Why didn't they attack? Okay. Is this madness? I don't think that it is. I don't think that it is. Lovely. Modern Age. Just have to not die. I think it's like this. Okay, where are we at? What are we doing? I feel like our opponent must have just drawn very poorly here. I mean, I hate to sit here and say I can't beat mono red unless they just draw really poorly, but it does kind of feel like that's where we're at. Here comes the Swiss Spear. Of course. You got it. Of course. Why would you not? I mean, this is it. This is the turn. I have to draw exactly the right card. And that's not it. Makenko, that's Makenko right there. That Kenko, that's Makenko. Okay, so I get to play first, and we get to wrap up today by finding out how many times can we play against mono red in one sitting. I mean, I'm only playing for an hour. How many times can I play against mono red? And the answer is at least once more, as always. Alright, we're going to keep this. We're going to lead with Underground River. If we don't draw a source that doesn't hurt us. White, black? What? There are other colors than red? I don't really buy it. Alright, Underground River, Collector's Vault. We're still going to try to be very, very cautious about how much damage we do to ourselves. No play on turn 2 from our friend, so we're going to play Otawara, and I think we're just going to say go. I really love Kaido. Like, I think that Kaido is arguably the best card in this deck, but there are cards that they could play that could kill Kaido, so I'm just going to say go. I'm going to say go, and I'm going to loot with Collector's Vault. Because I really have a brutal hand if they're not able to deal with what I'm going to deal with. Or if they're not able to deal with what I'm doing. We're playing the slow game. Let's... I mean, I do, right? I do throw the Conspiracy Raveler in the graveyard now. They may be able to interact with it later. I desperately need to draw an untapped land. Good golly, that is annoying. Okay, we're just gonna pass. There is no reason for us to be hasty here. Our opponent is not doing anything yet. What do you have on 4? Is it Shieldred? It's the Celestus. Fascinating. Okay. Pitching Breach. Reenacting the crime. See if our opponent wants to watch us combo off for a while. Here we go. Okay, it's Conspiracy Unraveler on our side. Betrayal Sting on our opponents. Maybe Soren. No, Betrayal Sting. Breach again. Let's... What all we got down here? Let's Conspiracy Ravel and Reenact. This time I will take... I mean, I can just start the loop, right? Yeah, let's just start the loop. Represent the loop. $29 cards yet. Okay, push and Bitter Triumph. Go again. Scab on our side. Soren on theirs.
I take no joy in the slaughter, but it's necessary work.
See, this is where push-pull is just so dang good. Okay. This time it's Jace on our side. Emperor on theirs.
I'll take...
Finally, I'm home.
How would you like to win with exactly 4 planeswalkers on board? And I'm not even going to activate any of them. Thank you, opponent, for being a good sport. Alright, gang, what did we learn today? Listen, I love this deck. I have had a lot of success with it. Earlier in the year 2024, this deck actually got me all the way to Mythic 2 consecutive months, which for a very average person like me doesn't happen all that often. I'm not the Mythic gamer that gets there every month. I just am not able to. This really got me there a couple of times. This was a couple months ago before OTJ hit standard. Did OTJ make standard that much faster that this is not able to play anymore? Well, I don't see other people playing this deck like at all. I played, I think, just now 7 games and went 3-4, so I have a losing record here. This, you know, I got crushed several times by mono red. When the combo does its thing and they can't interact with it, you just win out of nowhere. And that last game was quite a great example of it. Like, the opponent wasn't interacting with what I was doing, you know, didn't have a way to interact with the combo once it started kicking off, and I was just able to steal all of their stuff and then mill them out before they died. So again, I think that this deck is going to lose an enormous amount, particularly the repository scab, when rotation happens in a month or so. So I wanted to get one more playthrough with this deck in. I have played it in the past on video and had a much better winning record with it. This was not a good showing today, but I think it's an enormous amount of fun. I actually really do like the synergy, and I like Reenact the Crime. I just want to come out and say it. I don't think it's a controversial opinion. We just haven't seen a whole lot of it. This card is incredibly powerful. It just is. It's an incredibly powerful card. And even though we've moved away from it, it is, you know, the cheapest, arguably, the cheapest reanimation spell that we have in standard. So this sticks around. This sticks around. Oh, you can't see it because my face is over it. Atraxa sticks around. Breach the Multiverse sticks around. So we're going to see these things, I hope, some more in the future. So that is all for today. Thank you so much for playing along. Take care of yourselves and each other if you can. See you later.